So Jill Lublin is here with us for those of you just popping in and catching this amazing webinar. And we're talking about guerrilla publicity. So that, and I love what you just said, if you don't get your name out there, how are people going to know how you're going to make that impact that you want? So that was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the big piece, is getting your message right. Getting your message right. We got to start there. As much as I'd love to say, let's get you in everything from, the New York Times, the Miami Herald, to podcasts and blogs, it's important that you connect to your message and that it resonates and that it is who you are. So message first, my friends, message first. And with that, one thing I'd really advise that's really practical is take a look at what's the problem out there. And, I see so much of people, what they do is they talk in I language, and I do this and we do this and our company, provides this. I want you to start looking at what's the issue in the marketplace. What's the issue in your prospects and clients, and speak to that problem. And then, frankly, watch the news and see what is coming up in the news that's focused and centered on what you can support people with. And, get broader, get bigger, get more expanded in what your message is and what's possible for how you put yourself into the marketplace. And I think that's a real key, Nancy, that a lot of people forget about, is just really watching the news cycles. Sorry about that. Watching the news cycles so that you're looping in to what is going on in the news. Like my divorce coach, she helps, people are getting divorces. And when any celebrity gets a divorce, we pop her out as an authority to talk about this message, right? And when it's Valentine's Day, you're going to love this. And I want you all listening to really think about the impact of what I'm saying here. So when it was Valentine's Day, for example, we did a story about how to fall out of love, because, of course, she's working as a divorce coach. And that story, my friends, got her onto 7 TV interviews, 8 radio interviews, podcasts and blogs galore, right? And that was with a fairly short window, because she had just hired me. And I'm like, we got to go out with a story about how to fall out of love, right? That was really great for Valentine's Day. So think about how your story falls into the months of the year and the news that's happening right now. And how can you become more of the news, the expert authority, the person who has something to say about the matter.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting, because I never would have thought to approach Valentine's Day from the opposite of falling in love. It's people are like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, but as you shared that, I was like, there are a lot of people who stay through Valentine's Day, but they're not really happy. Right? So how do you extricate yourself? And it's another way of looking at whatever it is that your service, product, program provides, of the opposite of what is talked about. So it doesn't have to be exactly what the conversation is. It can be the opposite of it, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, like one of my colleagues wrote a great book called Crappy to Happy, which I think is hysterical. So for, as an example, for Valentine's Day, she does, how to be single and live another crappy to happy Valentine's Day.
So funny. So funny. I love it.
Yeah, just sometimes making things funny and simple and, sometimes controversial. And so, for instance, one of my clients, he was in my publicity course recently. He helps foster children find their families in Central America. Oh, well, wow. It's beautiful work. He's got a full-time job. This is his nonprofit work. Mm-hmm. And he's been attending my publicity course, listening carefully, executing strategies, having them work. And one day I looked at him and I said, Richard, we got a story happening out there about kids in cages, right? There's always some media about this. And he's like, yeah, but, that's not really my expertise. And I don't know really anything about immigration. I said, yes, but, you're doing something that is absolutely related to that. And he was coachable and we went deeper on it. Gave him the words to say, well, you know what? he ended up, because of tuning into that story, making it relevant and making himself become a known voice and actually be, speak as an expert, although not on immigration, just in what he did, but bridging it so that he relates to the subject matter.
Right, so
he got on, check it out, the CNN, the Wall Street Journal. He got also in the Associated Press because of it, and the Washington Post because of it. Do you know that he raised over $100,000 for his nonprofit because of the media he got? He got on ABC in San Diego, ABC TV in San Diego twice because of this, because he took the story bigger, made it relevant to what's happening in the media right now.
So what I'm hearing in that is, even though he's not an expert in immigration, he's an expert in children being separated from their parents.
That's right. That's right.
So
and this wasn't a political story.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Very good.
And yeah, so I really want you paying attention what's going on in the news. And one thing I want you all to do right after you listen to this is go to Google Alerts and register yourself under your name, because that's important. Also under your topics and titles and the things you speak about. So I think, or train about, or that your products are about, or anything related to your product and service. So those are really good places to start. So for example, my latest book is called The Profit of Kindness. And you know what's in
that one too?
Oh, yes, hang on. Thank you. The Profit of Kindness.
So hold on, because this is one of Jill's best tips that I learned from her, is that when you're doing an interview or you're on a stage, you pull the book up and you hold it right next to your face.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, and when I wrote this book, here's what's interesting. First of all, a couple things. It hasn't been a very kind world. There's a lot of division. And so as much as I would love to get a story about, hey, Jill's got a new book, how exciting, right? What the story was the divided states of America. And that's the story that got me on 7 Fox News TV interviews, got me over 45 radio shows, has got me in Inc. magazine and Forbes magazine twice. Wow. CEO magazine, Australia had me on a cover of one of their magazines. Why? Because we're talking about kindness. And here's what else. Because I was in Google Alerts and with the word kindness, I found out, for example, that November 13th is World Kindness Day. Did you know that? Maybe you knew that because you probably got an email or two about it, right? Or some kind of notification about it. And because I knew that, I was then able to back up and send a press release before World Kindness Day, where then I got 120 more kinds of fabulous media paying attention to the matter, who would then write something about it. And then I got all those logos that I could use. So if you go to profitofkindness.com, which is the website for the book, you will see on the bottom, or maybe we put it on the top, all the logos for the media. All of that came because of getting Google Alerts so that I could tie a major theme. Go ahead.
So you set up a Google alert for the word kindness.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You got notified that November 13th was World Kindness Day, and you said, aha, I'm about kindness. I'm going to write a press release and send it out. And it got picked up because it tied with kindness.
That's right.
Right. So like Abby Eisencraft, she's on taxes. So tax day, she's going to do stuff. We've got coaches on here. We've got Sony Jackson, who does messaging and helping people build their funnels and really getting clear on all of that. So what is the subject area that you're an expert in? Set up a Google alert for that. And Google Alerts is pretty easy. You simply you Google Alerts, and then you'll see the easy path to set it up. They make it simple for us, gratefully. Let me check in, because we are broadcasting live on Facebook. We've got several that are with us here today. So if you've got a question and want to go ahead, put it in the chat, put it in the Facebook message, and if I'm looking away, it's because I want to respond to you. Abby says, listen to this, Jill, how awesome. It says, back in 2016, Nancy and Trish, told me to be the expert. Thanks to your prodding, I did over, get this, 75 radio shows, TV shows, and was quoted in over 100 articles from U.S. News and World Report to Martha Stewart weddings.
Oh my God, Abby, I'm in awe. Congratulations, as you should be. And here's amazing. I hope that you got all of those logos on your website. And that's really key. I know that, you know, as you go into every kind of environment, I hope that you actually go in there saying that you've been featured. There we go.
Okay.
Saying that you've been featured in over, you know, X number.
Oh, that's me. Sorry about that.
Okay. So saying that you've been featured in over 75 radio shows. I mean, this should be top of your bio, so that your bio reflects all of this fabulous media you're getting. And this is the kind of thing, Abby, that should be scoring you, frankly, much more profit, because I know that publicity leads to profit, leads to more prospects, leads to more exposure and trust in the marketplace. And so I want you to make sure that you are leading with all this. And this goes for anybody who's gotten any kind of PR. You always want to be leading with it. I think that's really an important part.
Yeah, awesome. And congratulations.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to seeing Abby in January at Level Up. We're going to be up there January 10th and 11th. Susan Caperso is also with us. And I think Susan took your one day several months ago. She's the legacy doula. And
oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
hi.
Susan says, I love this. I didn't realize this and just set a bunch of alerts now. Always learning from Jill, as am I, Susan. I just love it.
Thank you so much, Susan. Come on back. Be great to have you back.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. All right. So if you have a question, just go ahead and put it in the Facebook, put it in the chat. We'll do our best to go ahead and respond to those. And coming back to our live conversation with Jill Lublin on Guerrilla Publicity, so that you can get known everywhere. One of the things that we said we would touch upon tonight is, number one, you know, how to position yourself so that you know what the media outlets want to hear. So we got clear on it's the messaging. It's not about you. It's about the bigger message. So you gave us several examples of that. A question, and this goes to the second thing we were going to talk about tonight, actionable steps. So yeah, I come up with a great line. I tie it with what's happening in the world or the news. What do I do? Like, how do I actually reach out to these media outlets?
So once you come up with the great line and who you are, then what we do is we take that message and put it usually, not always, but usually in the form of a press release. And that press release really indicates what the story is and makes it a story. Then that gets sent out to a media list, right? And a media list gets, I mean, you can buy them, you can Google it, although I don't recommend that because it's just so much easier to buy a media list and so much more time effective. And then I tend to, when I work with my clients, give somebody else, not them, a script to smile and dial and actually call the media with, you know, really literally calling, because that makes a difference.
So you said you give that when you're working with your clients, you give them a script for somebody to call the media, not the expert.
That's right.
So how important is that distinction?
Well, it's really important. Can I tell you why? And you know, honestly, first of all, I don't want you feeling rejected. I don't want you doing the kind of work it takes to actually get a hold of the media, because most of you are smart enough to be on this call and work with people like WPN and, you know, Nancy's organization, is that you want to use your efforts, your talents, to make the most, you know, profit you can and to get paid well. And you can have a wonderful virtual assistant or friend and neighbor, I don't care, but somebody else actually calling for you with somebody like me who can script them, tell them exactly what to say and make those calls. And I think spending your effort doing that piece of it would not be smart. Now, on the other hand, that person, think of them like an appointment setter, right? That as an appointment setter with the right script, They will engage the media on your behalf. Then you show up for the interview, where also you're very prepared, because, you know, Nancy, what most people don't realize is most interviews are 3 to 6 minutes long. I mean, they're fast, right? And so you got to
ready and know, because I've been on the news several times myself, and they're fast. You have to know how to redirect the host or the interviewer back to what you want to be sharing, because
that's right.
There's an art, there's a craft and a skill to it for sure. So let's come back to that, because this whole concept of you not being the one to call, I never thought of it that way before, Jill, that if I'm the one who's calling and I'm the expert, it might take 50 calls to get the bookings, and you might get 45 rejections. That is going to deflate the visionary, the expert, the messenger from getting out there, because you're so committed or attached to having it done. Whereas
that's right.
somebody that you hire or bring in is not going to have the same emotional connection. So
that's exactly right.
I love that piece. And here's what I want to suggest. 2 things. Definitely get someone else to do it. And if you're someone who's watching this and you're thinking, oh, I wish, if only I could, I don't have the money, right? Our network is filled with amazing people. This is where collaboration could also come into play. So Jill calls for me, I call for Jill. That could be another way to do it, right? If we're both trained in the right process, just for a little while, and then you'll earn the revenue and go ahead and hire somebody. And it's just a thought of how we can support each other and not be the one making the phone calls if you don't think you have the cash to hire somebody.
I think that's a great idea, Nancy. You know, the point is, make it happen, my friends. And come on, no more excuses. It's time for you to make an impact in the world, to show up and pull out a message that really gives your gift to others. I mean, that's how I'm really looking at PR. And PR, you know, can I just tell you, happens from the minute you walk out your doors. So when you go to your WPN meetings, when you do your other networking, when you talk to prospects, when you pick up the phone, or when you walk out the door to get coffee, you are doing publicity. So I want you trained in smart ways for how to promote yourself and to make yourself look good, sound good, and be efficient at how you communicate. It's all PR, my friends.
Love it. Love it. We have a couple of questions in the queue. May I go ahead and share those now?
Please do.
So Sony Jackson is asking for another one of our WPN sisters. Do you need to get permission from a group before putting their logo on your website?
So yes. Well, when we say group, what I mean is the media, right? So what has to happen is they actually have interviewed you, had you on, featured you on their website, using jilllublin.com or profitofkindness.com. You will see logos. You will see them on my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page, because I've been interviewed and featured. So when you see people using logos, they absolutely have had to be interviewed and featured. Otherwise, they cannot use it.
Beautiful. Okay. So, excellent question. So, second question, you ready?
Sure.
What if you're going from massage, being a hands-on massage therapist, to Eminence Organic Skincare, which, by the way, I love. Kudos, Ellen. If you're going from doing massage to a skincare line, a whole new area of industry, but get experience of veteran massage with organic facial, higher end exclusive area, more expensive in industry. I don't really get the question. Like, is it about how you position yourself as an expert? Is that what you're asking? And Ellen, you might want to type something in there again so we can get you the right. Unless Jill, maybe you understood and I just didn't.
Well, my inference into what she's asking is that how do we transition one message to the other? And Ellen, if that's not correct, please go ahead and chat in. But I'm going to speak to that for a minute, because people do transition. And in these days, people have multiple streams of income, which I think is smart, you know, and what I would say is, as a massage therapist, you understand the importance of beautiful skin, of living healthy, of having a glow, and that you can speak to that. And particularly, I would use the fact that you've been a massage therapist, so you understand health, healing, beautiful skin, and how to keep and be healthy. What is she saying?
She did not respond with anything.
Okay.
So here's the thing. There's a piece of it that you might think, I did massage, now I do skincare. You've been touching people's skin for years, decades. You are an expert in skin. I love that you said that, Jill, because it's the truth. And sometimes people, as they transition or expand into new areas, or sometimes totally switch, like I've had the people say this when they're putting their bio together, that I have one client who did operations, safety management, and team development at Exxon. And now she's in a Mary Kay. She's still building teams. She's doing career development. She's working with people. And when we were saying, logos, I said, what logos, what companies have you worked in? And she said, well, I used to work for Exxon, but that's not the same career. Use the Exxon logo, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that you've been at Exxon gives you huge credibility. There's just something that's so key. I mean, it's amazing to me, and I've worked with so many people who are so amazing, and then sometimes you forget your own amazingness, right? Or
why we need coaches. I need it too, right?
Right. And so, yes, you always want to start with your credibility factors, I might call it, even if it has nothing to do with what you're doing. I have a woman who works in Uganda now and takes people on missions. Her last one in Uganda served 10,000 people. I'm like, how'd you do that in X number of days, right? And she is a neuroscience nurse. She often forgets to bring that up first, because of course we're going to trust a neuroscience nurse with anything else she does.
Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, Ellen said it's a new market, new clientele, which I don't think it really is. It's not. If the people that you were massaging have skin, they know you, trust you, and like you. They'll be excited that you've expanded into something new to offer them if you've brought good relationship.
That's right. And in fact, Ellen, I want to say, go to your people who you've been massaging for years first, because they know you, obviously trust you. You've massaged them, you've seen all parts of their body, and you and you know their skin. You know what they need, and they trust you as a massage therapist.
Oh.
You've been intimate with them. Skin is intimate. Let's start with the people who know you and love you.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. So Jill, this whole concept about publicity can oftentimes create stage fright, fear, or intimidation, like, oh, the big media, how do you get there? And obviously you can't share everything with us in this brief webinar, and you've given us some great tips already. So talk a little bit more about what each of us can do to get known everywhere. What some of the other processes or tips and tricks of the trade you can share with us today.
Beautiful. So one thing I love that's really simple that all of you can do is get what I'm a little reluctant to use the word, even though I'm a publicity expert, but I want you to celebritize yourself in your local marketplace. And what does that mean? What it means is that you're going to use the local business journal and your daily paper. Yes, most markets still have a daily paper, and they have the online version. So, Nancy, I'll just, say as an aside, I am so excited about the power of publicity because I've seen its power multiplied. Why is it multiplied? Because every major media also has an online version, and the increase of podcasts and blogs has made media really expanded in terms of the numbers and the outlets and the places you can be. And the fact that we're on Facebook Live right now is phenomenal with reaching people. So I want to say to all of you, I am thrilled with what and how the power of publicity has really expanded and really is reaching far more people.
And it's put the control into our very own hands.
Yes, love that. So, can you get on Facebook? So here's getting on Facebook Live. Even if it's once a month, once a week would be better. But if that's too much for you, then do once a month. So back over to this announcement possibility that business journals and daily papers have a section called people and people in the news. And it's really just an easy announcement. And you're going to announce something that you've recently launched. Or maybe you joined a board. Like I serve on a nonprofit board. When I joined the board, I put that into the announcement category of the daily paper and the business journal. And what this does is it creates I like to call it, I've heard of her somewhere syndrome. So I had this woman as a client. She was in my publicity course in Los Angeles, and we go deep on this and we actually write it out. And she goes, this is so cool. I'm gonna really try this. And when we got to our consulting, she hadn't quite tried it yet. And so I had her actually do it. Do you know what's interesting? By the second announcement she made, and I have people do them every 60 days. This, my friends, is a publicity system, right? Mm-hmm. This is one of the things you do for your publicity system every 60 days is this fabulous announcement. By her second one, she had already gotten 9 clients from it. 9. Because one of the places besides those 2 that you serve is your alumni. So it could be your alumni magazine or your newspaper, any of that. So I think that would be really key for some of you to look at where else can you be putting your name out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and locally, there's so many opportunities. And let me go back to Susan Caperso for a moment, because she has been, since when did she really start with this aspect of her business? Maybe April or May. She's been in, 5 or 6 different newspapers and magazines, 5 or 6 different TV shows, just, sharing her message. She's got a good message to share about being a legacy doula. I know she came to your course and got tons of great ideas that she implemented, which is why that exposure keeps happening.
I love that. Thank you. And that is a real key, is to keep doing it. So here's another tip, my friends, is this does not stop. Meaning, I don't want you to do, I call it like a Volkswagen campaign. You know how Volkswagens go, right? And you want to be a continuous evolution. Your message will evolve every time. I got 4 books, right? Every time I have a new book, I have a slightly new message. My bio expands. I have people look at their bio, and I want you all to do this too. Every 90 days. I want you to look at your bio every 90 days, because there are new things that get added, or awards you might have won, or maybe you launched a new program that you didn't even put out there yet, right? So that's just a real piece for all of you is you want to have systems in place for keeping your name out into the world, and announcements is one of them. Checking your bio is another. Doing a Facebook Live on a systematic, ongoing basis so people are watching for you, that's another. Posting appropriately, that's a good thing, right? And making sure that you keep a consistent message out there.
I love it.
Nancy, I think you were going to say something there.
I was. So a couple of things. Number one, I tend to revise my bio maybe every 6 months or so. And I just realized with this tip you gave me, so thank you, my friend, that the one philosophy, which I'm supposed to have a book next to me. Oh, I can go like this. The one philosophy.
That's it.
The one philosophy is in a pilot program in 6 schools in Suffolk County, New York. I haven't.
You got to announce it.
I didn't announce it. I didn't put it in my bio. And how many of those other things have I forgotten to include is where my mind started going.
So Nancy, for you, my darling, I have the very next thing you have to do, which is make an announcement that you were recently, you're thrilled to announce that your program, The One Philosophy, has been acquired by 6 schools, and then the rest of it would be who Nancy Matthew is.
And this
right?
would this be in a press release? Because this is dovetailing beautifully to the question that I have.
No, it's actually just an announcement. And when I say just, it's not a diminished thing. It's actually very strong and powerful. And I think you're going to be in my publicity course, and we're going to actually write it out, my dear. So that's the good news.
Okay, good, yeah. You're coming to Florida for that, right? Because I've never attended. I've known you 10 years, and I've not attended. How could this be?
Oh, my gosh.
I know, crazy. When is it?
So I will be in Florida with the publicity course. It's called Publicity Crash Course, and I'll be there on January 17th. January 17th. Should I tell them how to go to the website and check it out?
Let's go ahead and do that now. So January 17th is your event.
Yes, in Florida, and I have it all over in many cities, also on Zoom. If you can't make that live, no problem. It's on Zoom. Live with me in a different way. So it's still same great course. But what's so cool about the Florida course and any live course I do, whether on Zoom or in Florida or anywhere else, is that we roll up our sleeves and actually do 3 documents like this that I'm talking about. You're going to walk away with 3 things actually done and 4 documents that you can use forever for the life of your business for any project.
Wow.
All right. So January 17th in Florida is coming right up for those of you in Florida. That's fantastic. And for all details on the course, like bigger than, we're talking about right now, check out publicitycrashcourse.com, publicitycrashcourse.com, and maybe you can put that in the notes. And Nancy, I'm working out a very spectacular discount and coupon for your people. And what they're going to use is the code SUPERDUPER. And that's SUPERDUPER, super duper.
All one word?
All one word, all lowercase.
Okay,
super duper. Go ahead and put that in, and that's giving you literally making it a third of the price you're going to see on the web.
Wow. Thank you.
So you're welcome.
It takes care of us, my friends. That's what those long-term relationships bring about.
That's true. That's really true.
It is true. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so go to publicitycrashcourse.com and enter the coupon code SUPERDUPER, all one word, SUPERDUPER, and you'll get a third off or a third of the price.
Literally a third of the price.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like 2/3 off. Okay, that's even better.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say, for whatever reason you can't make that date, start on Zoom with me. It's still always live with me, and know that we're going to get done what you need to get done. But I can't wait to see some of you live who can actually be there. It'll be fabulous.
Good. All right. Anyone else have questions for the amazing Jill Lublin? I trust that you will go to the publicitycrashcourse.com and be able to join Jill in this amazing workshop on January the 17th. And as we're wrapping up, I want to dial in on something you said that I think is often forgotten. It's not a one-hit wonder or a one and done. It's a system, an ongoing system. So speak to that just a little bit.
Yeah, and thank you, because I'm so big on this in my course. I'm going to give you the 30-day system, the 60-day system, the 90-day system, and I actually have given it to you even on this webinar. We're just going to go deep and actually do it in the course. So every 60 days, you're looking at your bio. Every 30 days, you're reviewing your message. Every 90 days, every 90 days, you're looking at your bio, and every 60 days, we're going to send out an announcement. Right? And then we get to the press release, which is also covered in the course very rigorously, and what you put in it and all the templates, right? So what I want to say to you is that most of you are kind of like a bit of a shotgun approach. I want you to be organized and systemized and focused with how you put it out there in a way that the media responds to, since I'm a trained professional, and frankly, so are they. They want people who are articulate and consistent and committed to their PR. And speak in a way that's simple and easy to understand, that engages people. And that's where a lot of people need some support and confidence, Nancy. Here's what I noticed in people that I've trained over many years, is that the confidence really increases. And when you're more confident, it's amazing what happens and what can happen out in the marketplace.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Thank you for that. Let me see here. I'm checking in. No questions in the chat. Lots of thank yous and good points. And yes, I needed to know that. And yes, have somebody else call. And yes, it's a system. I mean, accolades all around, my friend. And this is
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is just the beginning, and we really do invite you to join us for January 17th or any of the other dates that Jill has coming up, or just do it virtually, but you got to do it. And I know for me, and I said this earlier, this is not something I'm an expert in. Obviously, I just missed that major thing and doing a major announcement about it. We need experts like Jill to build our business. And here's the deal. You can go to more networking events. You can have more cards sitting on your desk to follow up. Let's let the media tell everybody how amazing you are. That sounds like the simpler, faster way to get more impact.
Well, here's the deal, Nancy. It's an attraction factor, right? And, the deal is that when you have clients attracted to you, when they read about you in media, hear something, read a blog post, hear a podcast from you, all of a sudden what they're assuming is that you are top of your field. And, one of the things we didn't really mention, I've been helping people get book deals for over 18 years. And let me tell you that when I talk to publishers and agents and pitch books that no one's even written yet, but I'm pitching ideas, one of the things they ask me is, what's your influence like? Right? How do you reach people? How are you going to sell books? Meaning you, the author, the person who wants to write a book. And I got to answer that, and that's based in publicity. So I think that's really a key.
Awesome. Yeah, and you are amazing at getting book deals for people, and that'll be another webinar we do together.
Oh, that would be good.
Nice. Yeah, that's a whole nother slice, right?
Yeah, and I think it was somebody was asking about the Zoom and how they were handled. And yes, what you do is you just say that you're going to be in Zoom, and we'll get you all the information on that. It's a very specific, time and place, no issue. That we'll get you all the logistics on that.
Perfect. So if somebody has a question about book publishing or the workshop or the Zoom, can they email you?
Yeah, if you'd be so kind also to maybe put this in the chat, but go ahead and email info@JillLublin.com. So JILL, and then another LUBLIN, 3 L's in the middle there, info@JillLublin.com. Also, if you need to, just call our office. We like talking to people. 415-883.
Wait.
Sure.
415-883.
5455.
Perfect.
Call us on that. And then I think you're also putting the link in for the publicitycrashcourse.com with the code super duper. So thank you.
You're welcome. 415-883-5455.
That's right.
Yes. I want to make sure I didn't transpose the number.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. If you have any other questions, here Deborah wants to know any specifics for real estate. Somebody who's in real estate.
And that was Deborah, you said, asked that?
Deborah.
So, Deborah, let me tell you, I've worked a lot with real estate agents, mortgage brokers, people in the finance industry. And one of the things that announcement strategy I gave you, which we're actually going to do in the course, the publicity course, is a fabulous strategy for real estate. Okay, so that's something because it keeps your name out there. You need to distinguish yourself. And I think it's really key also that you work maybe in the with the real estate editor for great stories about how to buy your first home or what to do in the new real estate market, how to invest in real estate. I had a real estate agent I was working with, and what we did for her was created a manual, like basically a workbook, which I now call Action Guide. And that action guide was how to invest in real estate. We sold it, notice the quotes, they are quotes, we sold it for $197. And of course it was free to any of her prospects and clients who were, looking at new houses. That was a wonderful strategy for her that generated a lot more leads too.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Deborah, I believe, Deborah, you're the, I may not know you, Deborah. How could that be? She's new to WPN. I thought you were new to the area, but I wasn't correct on that, but that's okay. You got great advice from the fabulous Jill Lublin. Awesome. All right, let me check other questions here. She's in Suffolk County, New York. So Deborah, make sure that you come and join us for Level Up the weekend before the crash course. And we got lots of people in real estate up in Women's Prosperity Network, and be the go-to expert. And I think that what Jill was talking about, the new real estate market, or how to invest, and what to expect. What's the crystal ball? There's so many people predicting that that the bubble is going to burst again. So get in that conversation around it. Maybe even that contrary position if you can find one.
Oh, and Nancy, if I may, like Deborah in particular, just as a possibility, you can take Zoom, and then as my guest, and I should just tell this to everybody, you can be in any live course. So I'll be coming to New York next year, right, in 2020, and you'll just be my guest in the live course. So
Perfect.
Start on Zoom, come to the live course later.
Bonus. So no matter where we are, we can do the Zoom, and wherever you happen to do it. I know you do it in Florida. Do you do this in California also?
I do. You're welcome, Deborah. I do it in California. I do it in New York, Dallas, Texas, Florida occasionally, and then the Bay Area, Las Vegas occasionally, and LA. Those are the main cities.
Yeah, the main places you like to go and play, probably, right?
Absolutely. Well, I'm at Book Expo every year helping to pitch clients, so I always do a course in New York. Absolutely.
All right, beautiful. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Use the tips that you got today. Create your system for publicity so that you can get known everywhere. And reach out to Jill. All of her information is in the chat. I'll make sure that I also put it in the Facebook group. Most importantly, go to publicitycrashcourse.com, because it can be easy for you to do this when you have the right system and the right expert guiding you through. Anything final you want to share tonight?
The biggest thing for me that's driven me for over 20 years to help literally thousands of people is the commitment to your message. And I want you all to really get committed to your own message, and to know that your message matters, and to know that by putting your message out there, by putting your message out there appropriately, consistently, and in a way that can be seen and heard, you will, frankly, effortlessly and simply attract people who you are right for, who are right for you, and really giving your gift to the world. So let's get your gift out to the world in a way that others can hear and participate in.
Beautifully said, my friend. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, and I look forward to seeing you in January.
Thank you, Nancy. Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure, and my purpose, and then also my privilege, because I'm committed to supporting leaders to get out there, because we are in this together to make the world a more positive, uplifting, kinder place. Right, my friend?
Please.
Yes. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful night. Thanks for joining us, and have a great time this evening, Jill. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
All right, bye.